This person on the internet told me that I should go walk around downtown Salem at night and find out what happens. Well, I'm not in the habit of getting shooted on by internet strangers, so instead, let's talk about how safe I think Salem, Oregon is. My name is Clarity Odd, and I'm a local real estate broker here in Salem who specializes in relocations. Just like you, I relocated to Salem, and now I get to make videos all about this amazing city for you, my future clients. If you want to work with us in the home buying process, go down to the description of this video where you're going to find all of our contact information. Reach out so that we can help you. This video needs to have a huge ass disclaimer because as a real estate broker, there is a lot around safety and crime that I just simply can't talk about. Because of that, the scope of this video is a very specific topic of how safe or unsafe I feel in downtown Salem after dark alone. I relocated to Salem from Portland 5 years ago with my husband. So to give you a little bit of context, we kind of got to go back to the beginning of my relocation story so that you can understand my perspective for this video. My husband and I, we used to live in the heart of downtown Portland. I grew up in Portland. I went to Portland State University, which is right downtown, and I would boop and bop all around that city without any incident or issues or care in the world. And I truly can't think of a single time living in Portland that I felt unsafe or that I was being followed when I was walking around downtown at night. I never had any issues. And when I grew up on the east side of Portland in Mount Tabor, I also didn't have any issues. So coming to Salem, it felt like a really big departure from those big city vibes and living downtown. Generally speaking here, I felt like coming from Portland to Salem, going from a bigger city to a smaller city meant smaller issues. And I think that's relatively true, but in the creation of this video, I came to the realization that I used to walk around and take public transportation in Portland almost every single day, especially in downtown Portland. Living there, it was just so easy to walk from one side of downtown Portland to the other. And I realize now that I don't do that at all in Salem. When I created this video, I realized, first of all, I don't walk around downtown Salem like I did in Portland. And then that prompted me to ask myself, well, would I experience and inhabit Salem in the same way that I did with Portland? Or in other words, would I feel comfortable walking around downtown Salem by myself in the evening time or in the winter time when it gets dark at 4:30 p.m. like I used to do in Portland? My answer is no. I wouldn't want to find myself walking around downtown Salem by myself at night alone. And then it also occurred to me, well, shoot, I also wouldn't feel comfortable walking around downtown Portland by myself alone after dark either. And I really can't tell if my answers are a true reflection on how safe or unsafe I feel in Salem, or if it's more a commentary on the overall safety of living in an urban space in this world now. And this is a complex question, but I have to imagine the fact that I'm older and slightly wiser than I once was plays into my answer. But I also feel like part of the reason why I wouldn't feel comfortable walking around in downtown Salem by myself after dark alone is because 99% of the time that I'm in an unfamiliar space, I'm with my husband now. I no longer exist alone. And I think that has shifted my life and has a really strong impact on this very specific topic that we're talking about. Really am having a hard time understanding if the world is a different place or if I simply have a very different perspective than I did when I was younger. I think overall Salem is relatively a safe place to live. I mean, my husband and I, we walk around downtown together on a date night when it's dark out all the time, and we've never encountered any issues. I've also walked alone from a restaurant to my car, after meeting my girlfriends for happy hour, and it's dark out then. So there are certainly parts of Salem that I wouldn't want to find myself alone in after daylight hours, and even some places in the daytime. But since we are very specifically talking about just downtown Salem here, and if I personally would feel comfortable walking around downtown Salem by myself after dark, I'm sticking with my answer of no. This is a really interesting conversation and question. Anyways, if you're finding value so far in my commentary around this topic, give me a thumbs up so I know that you're enjoying the content, and go down to the comments and tell me if wherever you are living in right now, whatever city, if you would walk around by yourself after dark. Now, the question of safety comes up a lot when my clients who find me on YouTube have questions about Salem. Oftentimes, the first question they ask me about Salem is if it's safe or not. I'm hoping that this video can act as a guide of some sort to better help you identify my perspective and see if it relates to your own perspective or not. This is somewhat a video geared towards the women out there who would like the idea of having a downtown that's very walkable and accessible, and you can just like hang out for happy hour with your girlfriend after dark. And I want to make it clear that I think for certain people, their threshold of safety would allow them to feel very comfortable walking around downtown Salem after dark by themselves. But for me, it's just not an activity that I would feel comfortable doing any longer at this point in time in my life. And I think that one of the more unique reasons why my answer is what it is because downtown Salem is a destination. There is not a lot of residential living in downtown Salem. So downtown Salem shuts down and it gets very quiet, and the restaurants and the stores close, and you're really quickly going to find that some restaurants, they aren't even open on Sundays and Mondays, and most retail and shopping centers in downtown Salem, they close at like 6 p.m. So without residential living in downtown, or a lot of residential living in downtown, with places closing at 6 p.m., with some places closing on Sundays or Mondays, it becomes very void of people, and downtown gets very quiet. And let me tell you that the people that I am afraid of after dark is literally everyone. If you are not a woman in high heels, you are a potential threat to me. And I know that my babes on the internet watching this video, I know that you feel the same. When it's dark and there's a stranger walking behind you or passing you on the sidewalk, you pay attention. And that hypervigilance is only compounded when it's dark outside and there is nobody else around. I feel unsafe in a lot of spaces, but generally speaking, in the daytime, I would go almost anywhere in Salem alone. So don't take this video as an interpretation that the entire scope of Salem is an unsafe space for women. That is not what I am saying at all. What I am saying though is that as a solo woman, I would not just hang out in downtown Salem by my little old lonesome self after dark. This is such a hard topic. There is just no perfect answer to this question of is Salem, Oregon safe or not. Really is in your best interest to look up the crime rates of downtown Salem, or look at the crime rates of whatever neighborhood you want to purchase a home in, and really explore the different parts of Salem on foot. If you are purchasing a home here in Salem, the best way that you can establish if you feel safe in your new future neighborhood or not, park your car. Go get out and walk around. Talk to the people in the neighborhood and do a damn vibe check. Because as a real estate broker, I am so limited in what I can actually tell you around crime and safety. But my hope is that sharing my perspective and experiences in Salem will help inform you and provide you with the knowledge that you need to make a well-informed decision for yourself about the safety or unsafetyness of Salem. Man, oh man, this is just a hot button issue. And I know that everyone is going to have a different perspective. So I'm really curious to hear, what are your thoughts on Salem, Oregon? Do you feel like it's a safe or unsafe space to live in? Go down to the comments and tell us all exactly what you think about this city. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up because you're just such a cool cat, and watch this video next. Bye friends.